back. It's our last interview of the day with Russell, and it's the Caring Conversation Studio, live at the Care Show at the NEC Birmingham. How are you, Russell?
Very good, thank you. I was going to say I'm actually disappointed it's coming to an end.
Yeah?
It's a lot of people say, I'm glad it's over now. But no, it's there's a huge amount of effort gone into this, and then 2 days just like gone, and you kind of like want it to go on for a bit longer. That's my feeling anyway.
Oh, good. Well, that's a good positive sentiment to think about. It's a bit, it's a big deal for a lot of companies. We come along and we put ourselves out there to talk to people.
Yeah.
So how have you found the show in general then?
Very good. Yeah. We've done a couple of new things this year. So we've partnered with Appetito. It's a new partnership which we'll be doing at future care shows as well. This is the first one. So we've combined the VIP and speaker lounge with their dining experience to make it one large space. And so they obviously provide the food, and we've provided all the furniture and furnishings, created the environment for them to provide the dining experience, and for VIPs and speakers to come in and have a free coffee and somewhere to relax or to prepare their notes for their speech. Or,
nice.
You're a speaker. Did you?
I
did
didn't
you come
actually
in?
I've not been in there. No, I've been talking to people the whole time, so I should probably pop by before
Yeah, you
we
should.
go.
Yeah, there's not long left now. The other thing we've been doing is we've sponsored the Design, Build and Environments Theatre, which we've had quite a bit of input into in terms of different talks, topics of discussion. Been really pleased with how that's played out.
Nice. What do you do for our audience? Give us an overview of what your company does.
Yes, so I am an interiors consultant and director of interiors by Amara Hammond, and we do refurbishments, interior design and refurbishments of care homes throughout the UK.
Lovely. Right, so lots of different things to talk about, but refurbishments are an interesting subject area. So how do you know when you need to do a refurbishment?
How do we know when to do a refurbishment?
How do you know? You might. Is it 10 years? Is it 5 years? Is it 8 years? Is there a guidance that you can give for people?
Well, it's a good question. It really depends on how good a job you did the last time round as to how soon you need to do it again. But yeah, it should never be less than 5 years. Between 5 and 10 years, if you do it properly, you should get 10 years out of it. Okay,
that's interesting, because obviously, part of what we're talking about today is the sort of funding for the future and how people need to think about that. And I think probably one of the things that maybe care providers don't necessarily think about from the off is how you're going to fund something like that, how you're going to fund a refurb of a home. And I imagine it can run into tens of thousands, if not more, to refurb a home.
Indeed, yeah, hundreds of thousands, I would say. It comes down to a lot of things. Obviously, the type of care that's being provided. In some environments, the care provided is quite specialist, and it requires specialist furniture and furnishings to be provided to last in that type of environment. Otherwise, you are replacing, some are doing it less than a year. Not a full refurbishment, but having to replace furniture that often. So, but there are solutions out there. There's options available. I'd always encourage anyone that's doing a refurbishment to take what I call a design-led approach, because doing that, you're taking time to understand what the care needs are first before you start making that investment, making recommendations. That's how we always operate, is we say, let's do an initial consultation, understand what the needs are, and then we'll make a recommendation on what we think will work best for that environment so that they can get the best value for money at the end of the day.
It's interesting because interiors is one of the things that stretches right through from the moment that the potential customer looks at your care home right through to the whole time that their loved one will live there, right? And furniture and design and how that works is a really important part of a care home, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's we were obviously talking earlier about the marketing and the impressions that the interiors give. There's a lot of aspects to interiors. It's an area for the residents first and foremost to be cared for and call a home. It's also a workplace where staff are, working. So we actually had a conversation about that in the Design Build Environments Theatre about using the interior environment to promote staff well-being and retention, and then it's also marketing your business. So it plays a lot of roles within the care setting.
Have you got any favourite sort of furniture brands or favourite brands that you work with that you really think they've got really good quality products?
Interesting question. We've got in relation to flooring, we have some very good brands. Dan Floor, you're probably aware of. They're exhibiting here. Carpet they do carpet for the care sector, and I feel sorry for them since COVID, because everyone just had this idea as a result of COVID that carpets were not any good for infection control, and so everyone's just been going wholesale down the hard floor route. And actually, their carpets are still perfectly usable in a care setting. You just got to know where to specify it and how to maintain it. And carpet goes a long way to keeping a warm, cosy environment, important for acoustics, etc. And then on the flip side of that, with flooring, there's also a company called Ultra. We had Joe speaking here, one of the speaker stages, where they have some very good solutions for flooring that looks like genuine wood flooring, but has got all the safety, non-slip, etc. Great for the wet rooms. You got some great fabric suppliers. I Live exhibiting here, so I'd say they're one of the leaders when it comes to fabrics. They understand what the care sector needs from a compliance perspective for fire retardancy, etc. But they've got some stuff which it looks amazing. The benefit of I Live is that they also supply the residential retail sector, so they're making sure that they're up to date with designs and trends that they're introducing to the commercial sector, which is where care falls under.
And is there any kind of good tips you can give people in terms of when you're looking, obviously, give you a call, but when they're looking at refurbs and where to start, how to start, what to look at, things to consider they might not have?
Yeah, I think, as you say, give us a call. We'll guide them through it. But you've got to think about where do you want to start in the home, identify the areas that would benefit most from that investment, and then make a start. Don't look at it as one big, huge project of a building that is just too big to take on. Make a start and be open-minded as to how your spaces can be used within the care home. Don't be fixed in the fact that that room has always been a lounge, that room has always been a dining room. We were citing an example yesterday of a client who had a dining room with patio doors out into a nice little garden, and then they had a lounge in another room with no patio doors. And obviously a dining room is only used for meal times, and so it's kind of wasted a little bit, the fact that these patio doors go out to the garden. No one ever went out to the garden, so they flipped it, put the lounge into what was the dining room. They now have access to the garden. They've got a choice within that space of they could just sit in a quiet corner, they can watch TV by the fire, or they can sit by the patio doors. They can go outside or sit by them and get the benefit of outside. So it's be open-minded when you're considering doing a refurb as to how you can repurpose the spaces you've got to the benefit of the residents and to you as a care provider, ultimately getting a better return.
And not forgetting the families as well. And the example you showed me recently of I think you didn't actually show me, I saw it on your LinkedIn.
On LinkedIn,
with the workspace.
Yeah, it's not finished yet, I don't think. It's
a
work in progress.
It's a good idea, right?
Yeah, no, it's definitely, I mean, that home it's got the luxury of some space. So there was 2 rooms, 2 offices, which were kind of like just random little offices, and we said, well, let's knock them through, make them into a nice one space. And yeah, it's a space purely dedicated to visitors to come in, sit down, grab a coffee, and they can sit at a table and do some work, or they can sit on a soft chair. There's a toilet dedicated off that room that we've split off from the other part of the home. And yeah, it's just an area where they can go and it's peaceful and quiet, and they can just be there, especially if they've maybe got a loved one at end of life. They don't want to leave the home, but they don't necessarily want to be spending all the time in the bedroom. They can just spend some time in the cafe. But then other care homes that maybe don't have the luxury of space, it's still possible to achieve something. It might even just be at the end of a dining room, just a little coffee corner that can just give them that extra dimension to offer to families.
It's really interesting. So I've got a final question for you.
Wait for it.
Takeaways.
Takeaways.
Oh. Plate or no plate?
Plate or no plate? Depends what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thoughts?
Pizza, don't generally bother with a plate.
Yeah.
If it's most other things, are probably plate.
Need a plate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you heard of the concept of a safety plate, where you have the packaging on the plate?
On the plate?
On the plate.
No.
Mainly used for kebabs, I think, from what we understand.
Yeah, I get the logic of that. I do that with Subway.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That would need a safety plate probably.
Yeah.
If you're eating on the sofa. I mean, Sakara's a Subway fan, aren't you? No.
Well, the thing is, if
it's because you've eaten it on the way home, right?
you're unwrapping a Subway, it's not like very solid packaging.
What's your favourite Subway?
Yeah. Favourite Subway? Well, they've got quite a few good selections now. They've gone down the sort of menu.
I like. I always
pre-select
get
route.
chicken with the meatball sauce on it.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan of the meatball one. I go for the. I'm really pleased they brought back rotisserie chicken. So they got rid of that for a while, and it makes their salads a lot more attractive.
Nice. Okay. Well, on that note, Subway salads very attractive. Thank you very much, Russell. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
We have just a closing. We'll be back shortly to close the show. Thank you.